Last weekend, it was announced that hospitals in the Wellington region are no longer offering basic foods like toast and cups of tea to new mums due to what Te Whatu Ora are calling overspend and what everybody else is calling cruel, nasty, small-minded underfunding. When asked about the issues, Nicola Willis said, "Let them eat cake. This is their own fault because Labour bad." After public outcry, though, the government stepped in and resumed the toast and tea, showing that they can actually get involved in operational matters that they said they couldn't touch if enough people make enough noise. Uh, Research out of Harvard University this week showed that female leaders in Aotearoa, New Zealand, receive some of the most hate-filled, abusive threats of any leaders in the world. While the response to this for many was, well, duh, the worst people on the internet still didn't realize that they're the problem and were very, very happy to prove it. Uh, Astronauts aboard the International Space Station reported sonar-like noises emanating from the speakers within the damaged Boeing space capsule. While NASA has now said that the issue seems to be a connection to the communication system within the International Space Station, I'm still pretty sure it's space ghosts, and that's why their next list of astronauts includes these four guys from New York City. The second annual threat assessment report from NZSIS was released this week, giving a snapshot of the nation's threats and risks. Identified as one of the fastest growing and most prevalent motivators for potential violent extremism was white identity motivated violent extremists. When asked for comment, Acting Deputy Prime Minister David Seymour, seen here learning to pull the strings behind the scenes, said, "What? I wonder who's been pushing that." Damn, well, I guess we'll never know. Hamilton City Councillor Andrew Bidder, seen here showing his ability to make the most trustworthy friends to overthrow governments together with, was this week found in contempt of Hamilton City Council's Code of Conduct for an expletive-laden rant full of slurs aimed at disparaging the disabled community. While Bidder claimed it was infringing his freedom of speech, in documents that he leaked to the media to try and justify his actions, an independent investigator recommended censure. Now, on a totally different topic, Simeon Brown, seen here telling students that some of them will be seriously hurt by his blanket speed increases and his removal of raised speed bumps, but that's a sacrifice he's willing to make to save 58 seconds on a trip. He threw out recommendations earlier in the year on changing local government so that Bidder and other elected officials who are actively trying to make the country ungovernable faced actual consequences for their actions. In the final day of King Tūheitia's tangi, Prime Minister Christopher Luxon met with the President of South Korea. The President spoke of the connection forged in war when New Zealanders supported South Korea against North Korean aggression, while Luxon told delegates all about K-pop and Squid Game. Apparently, the speech would have been longer, but Luxon couldn't find a way to sum up all 11 seasons of the show MASH. But don't worry, his impressive oratory skills are definitely being noticed by all the alt-right people. On Wednesday, Stuff revealed that a pharmaceutical company had offered to give free early access to Keytruda, a life-saving cancer medication, but doctors were instructed by Health New Zealand not to offer it. It was also revealed by that Dr. Shane Reti, seen here wondering if you're actually going to eat that toast after giving birth, had initially tried to get money in the budget for those 12 life-saving cancer drugs that National promised in the election campaign, but was turned down and then ghosted by Finance Minister Nicola Willis after the initial plan to only fund a few of them was dropped, until the day after the budget, when people started noticing, despite assurances from the Prime Minister that they had been working on a fix for 6 months. Now, speaking of Dr. Shane Reti, it was also revealed yesterday that the flowcharts that he claimed to justify $1.4 billion in health cuts earlier this year and used as a justification for the removal of the Health New Zealand Board of Directors and installation of hatchet man Dr. Lester Levy as Commissioner don't exist. The charts claimed to show the bloated 14 layers of administration. When eventually released, they included patients and support staff. But it was revealed by OIA that they do not and have never existed, despite, again, what the Prime Minister said. And finally, today was the last day allowed under legislation forced through by the government to mandate councils who had set up Māori wards since the law change in 2021 to decide if they would abolish the wards at the next election or retain them and hold a referendum which the council would then have to pay for. Local Government Minister Simeon Brown, seen here showing off his deep connection to Māoridom with delegates from his electorate, was surprised to see that of the 45 councils who had to decide, only 2 chose to get rid of Māori wards in what is generally seen as a great big fuck you to central government. Even after overwhelmingly negative responses from thousands of New Zealanders in the select committee process, strong protests in and out of Parliament, including within council chambers, highly vocal responses from the wider public, and a barrage of negative publicity over the policy, the coalition still forged ahead, with it showing yet again this week that making stuff up, sidelining views of the public, and ignoring official advice is the mantra of this current government. That is this week's news.